Hey guys, welcome back to Games of War. Today's episode is focusing on a brand new game released from Atlus and Image Epoch that I'm completely enamored with, but I want to take it all the way back to the beginning. Lunar Silver Star and Lunar Eternal Blue on the Sega CD. Lunar Silver Star is my favorite RPG of all time. Eternal Blue is a great follow-up, and for years, as long as I've been playing games, I've been chasing that feeling that I got when playing Lunar. That magic, that sense of discovery, that epic RPG gameplay. I'm always chasing, looking for that same experience, trying to find that game that's going to give me the emotion that Lunar pulled out of me as a kid. Now chalk it up to being young and being the first of its kind, the first RPG that I experienced, and just being young and looking back on it, it could be nostalgia messing with my mind, and maybe it will never be matched again. But some games have come awful close that have been released recently. Radiant Historia on the DS is a game that I hold very near and dear. This was an excellent game. I had a lot of kind of flashbacks to playing Lunar. I absolutely love Radiant Historia. Tales of Vesperia, another one that completely just evoked those feelings of just adventure and wonder and really connecting with the characters and storyline and the plight of the characters. This was a fantastic RPG. Another series that has come very close is Luminous Arc 1 and 2, and this is going to lead into the game that I'm playing now, the recently released Stella Glow, which is the spiritual successor to Luminous Arc 1 and 2. Before I get into these games, I just want to talk a bit about Image Epoch. It's a company that made Luminous Arc 1 and 2. They also made another game I'm quite fond of, Sands of Destruction, and they also made Arc Rise Fantasia on the Wii. All great games. Luminous Arc 1 and 2 are my favorite of the bunch, but Image Epoch is a company that should be celebrating its 10th year anniversary with the release of Stella Glow, a big celebration party. Unfortunately, Stella Glow is their swan song as they closed their doors last summer. Their latest couple of games didn't do too well. Not that any of their games ever exploded. They're the niche of the niche within the Atlus stable. Time and Eternity did not do well at all on the PS3. That was kind of a disaster. And they, I believe, co-developed Yoshi's New Island on the 3DS and a couple other games that never left Japan. Some great RPGs that never left Japan that are fully translated. I think The Seventh Dragon, a few pretty highly regarded RPGs. But unfortunately, Image Epoch is no more. I'm just very happy that we got one last final epic game. I would have loved to have seen them keep going. They're one of my companies that I really look forward to the games that they release, but sadly, no more. Luminous Arc 1 and 2 are the games that came before Stella Glow, so these kind of laid the foundation for what Stella Glow is. At its core, and at these games' core, they're strategy RPGs, so think Fire Emblem, think Shining Force, think Final Fantasy Tactics. You'll have a good idea. They're strategy RPGs, tactical. There's a grid that you move around on and you attack enemies. What sets these games apart, Luminous Arc 1 and 2, they're excellent games. Excellent strategy gameplay is the characters, the dialogue, and the interactions between the characters. You fight battles, you can power up your characters, level up just like other RPGs, you can equip different weapons, you've got special moves, drivers that you can power up and unleash powerful attacks. These games, witches, that's all I'm going to say. There are witches in this game, some allies, some foe. They're all brilliantly done. Their evil witches are completely evil. They're all very attractive witches, and they can be ruthless and they can be just as sweet as pie. And the yin and yang, the balance of the evil and good, and interacting with the characters and their plight against the storyline is the highlight of this game for me. The interactions, the top quality voice acting, there are anime cutscenes, and just the way the characters interact with each other and the personalities, the very well written scripts, and these witches just really made these games, it just elevated to another level. I really enjoyed the gameplay, but it was the storyline and the scenes in between the battles that really pushed these up to the top of the heap of the strategy RPGs in my opinion. So when Luminous Arc 3 never came out in the States, it was DS only in Japan. I believe there was a Luminous Infinity on the Vita that came out in Japan as well. I was really bummed out, and then they announced the next game we're going to get into, the focus of the video, Stella Glow. The initial print run of Stella Glow comes with some pretty cool bonus features. It's got this collector's box here, oversized. It comes with a really nice, almost silk artwork. This has got the Witch of Destruction on there. Beautiful artwork. I love the color style, the bright purples and the pinks and the blues and greens. This is just a demonstration of the fantastic art style employed within the game. And this is a really nice, beautifully soft. I'm a big fan of stuff like this. I'm going to get a nice frame and hang this up. So it comes with this. You also get a keychain of Boo Boo, which is the witch's familiar in the game. A really cool character, a nice little keychain to have. Obviously it comes with the game itself. You also get a copy of the soundtrack. This is a Stella Glow Song Magic. On the back it's got the witches. On the front, some nice artwork, so that's a nice inclusion. Once again, this is the first initial print run. You don't have to pre-order it, but once this print run is done and over with, then this edition is gone. And with Image Epoch being no more and Atlus already doing small print runs, if you want to get this game, I wouldn't wait to get this edition. So like Luminous Arc 1 and 2, Stella Glow is a strategy tactical RPG that plays out on a grid. You move your characters like chess pieces, Final Fantasy Tactics, Fire Emblem, Shining Force, very much like that. And also like Luminous Arc, what sets this game apart is the dialogue, the script, the voice acting, the interaction between characters. But in the beginning of this game, the storyline starts off and it might make you groan a little bit. Once again, we have an amnesiac lead character. His name is Alto. But I promise you guys, set this aside, because once the game starts proper and gets going present day, you forget all about that and the real star of the show takes over, which is the storyline, the well-written script, and the voice acting. Now Alto is living in a town with Lisette and the mother who is taking care of Alto. Very peaceful existence. One day there is some songs being heard, sung from the forest, which is very odd because there have not been songs sung in a millennia. There was a war with witches in the past, and the ability to sing is given to no one. No one can sing except witches. Alto is aware of this, but isn't really focused on it when he hears it in the forest. When they go in there and meet this girl that's singing this song, they aren't aware of who exactly she is. They talk, she seems nice enough, but she gives a cryptic warning to just leave the village. Leave the village. Alto thinks this is strange. They get back to town the very next day. A song is heard again and the village gets ravaged. The people in the town turn into crystal. Now this is a no spoilers video. This all happens in the first 5 minutes, so I'm not going to spoil anything. So when this town is being turned into crystal, Alto and Lisette are spared because they're out in the forest, and they find out that this girl they met is actually the Witch of Destruction. They are furious. They try to exact some revenge, get her to stop, get her to reverse the spell. They can't understand why. She explains who she is, summons some familiars, and is ready to wipe out Alto and Lisette. Thankfully, they're saved by the 9th Regiment Knights, who come and put an end, and they realize the witch is outnumbered and she retreats. After running the Witch of Destruction and her familiars off momentarily, the 9th Regiment Knights take Alto and Lisette under their wing, take them back to the capital, where Alto pleads his case, says he wants to do whatever he can to hunt down this witch and reverse this crystallization process. Meanwhile, the Witch of Destruction isn't stopping at Alto's hometown. She's going to ravage the entire land. Anywhere she can, she's going to turn towns and other people into crystal. The 9th Regiment Knights are a very powerful group, and they realize that Alto isn't ready. So you undergo a series of tests and see if you're worthy to become a knight and worthy of their help. Now this is where the game really kicks into high gear, and I just fell in love right away with the knights themselves. You've got Rusty, who is kind of the party animal, doesn't take anything too seriously, kind of a slacker-esque character. And at the total opposite of that, you've got Archibald, who is like a huge, gruff, tough guy, straight as an arrow. Watching Rusty and Archibald go back and forth and the way they play off of each other, once again, superb voice acting. It just sets this game a league of its own. You take these normally cliche characters, give them this phenomenal voice acting and great writing, and it becomes something more. In addition to Rusty and Archibald, you've also got Klaus, who is the leader, who's just an overall nice guy, sympathetic to both Archibald and Rusty, and really manages them well. And he takes a liking to Alto and really wants to help train him, get him powerful enough to help take on the witches. And after some training, you set out of your goal, which is to find the other witches and see where their loyalties lie. If they're going to help you take down this Witch of Destruction, we're going to meet other witches, see if they're good, if they're bad, and just set out on a grand adventure to try to take down the Witch of Destruction and reverse this crystallization process and restore peace to the land. Now the game is laid out in battles, and you've got your events. Now your battles are precisely what they are. There are main story battles that are going to push the story along. And mind you, these battles, whether it's a storyline, you might think it's just battle, then talk, then battle, then talk. Well, the battles sometimes start off, you might be talking to a secondary non-player character, somebody you meet out in the open plains, and you start up a conversation, and then a subplot will develop from there, and it branches off into a mission that's completely separate that you thought what you were doing. It's got these branching storylines and these characters that are introduced that all have tons of personality. You're going to meet up with all kinds of cool characters while doing the story missions, and then you've also got kind of generic battles where you can just gain experience, whether the monsters have invaded or whatever. There's not an overworld map, which usually is kind of a negative. I usually see that as a negative, but in this game it's okay. You kind of move where you want to go next. You don't explore a huge open world. But I don't miss that because these event scenes are such... they're so well done in terms of dialogue and meeting new characters and keeping things fresh. I don't really mind it. Now once you get back into towns, and there's more than one town, there's huge bustling towns, there's smaller towns, you can go into shops where you can buy weapons, and you can also upgrade your gear. You can equip orbs which give different statuses to your weapons. So there's attack orbs, there's all kinds of different orbs that give your weapons more power than they normally would have. And you've also got free points, and these points are used to make decisions. While you're spending your free time, you can choose to interact with one of your fellow knights. Now this plays a big role too. Each person you choose to interact with, you strengthen their bond and camaraderie. And not does it just strengthen that, you learn new moves. If you choose to talk to Klaus, leader of the knights, and you spend the free time talking with him, he may teach you a new move that you can learn in battle and use that. And they're not just throwaway moves, they're really useful stuff. If you choose to talk to Lisette, you might hear more of her plight and how she's feeling, and it might open up additional either items to get or give you insight. You choose to hang out with Rusty, who's a master of the blades. He might teach you a new knife technique. You have 3 free points that you can use while you're in town, so you can make 3 different choices of what you want to do. Whether you choose to talk to Archibald, or you choose to talk to Klaus, or Rusty, so each one's going to take a point. So you really got to think about who you want to strengthen your bond with, and overall what you want to do. It's very critical in managing your time properly, because once you use your 3 points, then you're back off to battle. But the game really takes battles seriously, even though it's kind of a lighthearted approach with the story. There's a lot of humor, but it's also very serious. And when the battles commence, it's all business. It's challenging, but not frustrating. It's not the permadeath where if you die, you're going to lose a character forever. So it's not like Fire Emblem in that regard. But still very challenging, and you want to do well. The monsters are all very nicely drawn, as are the character portraits. The voice acting, I've said, top-notch. And it really, watching this story unfold, I've put 15 hours into this game, and when I open up the DS, that's all I want to play, the 3DS. This game is in my machine, and it won't leave until I finish it. It's one of those games, like I said, very few, that I will not play another game until I finish this, and I will finish this game soon. I love the voice acting, I've really connected with the characters, and I love the strategy RPG gameplay. This game has just pulled me in. So if you're into strategy RPGs, definitely take a look at Stella Glow. If you're a fan of either of the Luminous Arc games, definitely take a look at Stella Glow. The characters, dialogue, story, everything, you feel like you're in control. And it's really cool to meet these characters. They're all interesting, great dialogue. I'm having a blast with this game. Completely enamored with it. I want to thank you guys once again for tuning in. Games of War really is nothing without you.